Hello, Brian Weeks here again with another MMCD contract consideration. This video clip will cover the topic of the contemplated change order and request for quotation. This is a companion video to the two titled Responding to an RFQ and Issuing a Change Order. This video will review the process to generate a change order under the MMCD with a reminder about the implications of changes versus extra work. We'll look at an example of an extra work that an owner is considering and use it to see how to fill out the contemplated change order or CCO form. First, though, remember the joke about contractors making all their profits on change orders. This need not become reality if the change order process is properly managed. It's up to the contract administrator, the CA, to get pricing and to negotiate those prices if necessary. This may not always be possible given timing or circumstances, but it should be the goal. The document which enables control is the contemplated change order, which also functions as a request for quotation in the MMCD. Keep in mind that under the MMCD, the additional work the owner wishes to consider must first be classified as to whether it is a contract change or extra work. If you need a refresher on the difference, see the contract consideration video titled Change versus Extra. The important thing is that if the additional item being considered is a change, then both the owner and the contractor have no choice but for the contractor to do the work if it goes ahead. Furthermore, if a quotation is requested, provision of one will be mandatory. On the other hand, if the additional item is extra work, both the owner and the contractor have the ability not to deal with each other on this matter. In the normal situation, the MMCD change process has several steps. Number one, the CA would first get drawings and specifications which would completely define the scope of that additional work. Number two, the CA would then determine if the proposed work would be a change or extra work. Number three, the third step is to create and issue the contemplated change order, which also acts as the request for quotation. Normally, the contractor will prepare and submit a quotation for the contemplated change. The fifth step is for the CA to evaluate and perhaps negotiate the quotation with the contractor. If acceptable, the CA will issue the formal change order to modify the contract to include the additional work and its time and cost implications. Number 7, in some circumstances, the change order will be issued before pricing is finalized. In these cases, the contractor must submit daily force account forms detailing the components of the daily costs until the work is done or until a pricing agreement has been reached. Let's look at an example. On a street improvement project, the owner has asked the CA to investigate whether it makes sense to build a short retaining wall to minimize the volume of a side hill that would otherwise need to be removed. Step 1 is for the CA to get the design consultant to generate a drawing of the proposed work, while the CA verifies that all necessary specifications are available in the current MMCD edition or by separate issue. A quick look at the example shows the simple block wall with 3 rows high by 30 blocks long, with a couple of geotextile layers and a drain layer and drainage pipe just behind the base of the wall. One potential difficulty for the contractor will be the undefined amount of site grading that must be done to meet the required slopes. Step 2 is to determine if the proposed work is a change or an extra. The CA reviews the definition and determines that although the new wall would be within the limits of the place of the work, there is nothing in the schedule of quantities and prices which is directly similar. Thus, the proposed work would be extra work if it's to proceed. Step 3 has the CA create the contemplated change order form. The CCO is a key document from which others will be derived. Like any other foundation, it needs to be done right or everything else gets harder. I've created a CCO for this example using the form on the MMCD website as the base template. The form you use can be the owner's standard form, the MMCD form, or a form provided by the design or project management firm. Just make sure it has the necessities shown on the MMCD form. Let's look at some of the highlighted points. Every CCO should have a unique number for tracking all related documents and conversations. Ideally, this number will have some relationship to the number sequence in the schedule of quantities and prices, but that's not essential. The contract title and reference number are normally from the primary contract authorization data. Note that I've clearly identified that this is a potential extra work, so the contractor is not obligated to respond with a quotation. If he does, there's a specified closing date. It is a good idea to create separate contemplated change orders for items which are significantly different in function or cost implication. In this case, there's one simple package, albeit with 4 stages. One of the key philosophies of the MMCD is the underlying principle to say it once. This is an extremely good rule to follow when creating any contemplated change order. Do not repeat information shown on other documents, such as drawings or specifications. Link to the existing conditions as much as possible. In this example, I've attached the drawing created to show the contractor what work is required. I then specify that drawing number and its revision only once on the CCO. In this way, I do not repeat information, and should the drawing change, it only takes one minor change here to update all necessary references. Although there are several stages to this work, I use the phrase "as shown" to repeatedly refer to the drawing without having to relist the number. The drawing itself calls up both new products, the geotextile, and existing specifications from the Platinum Edition for the drain rock, PVC pipe, and hydroseeding. Again, these should only be mentioned once for ease of correction if necessary. When it's helpful for clarity, identify specific extra costs the contractor is to include, such as I did by mentioning the disposal of the excess cut material. If there's a limited time frame or window for the work to be done, this must be clearly stated here to avoid potential claims later. I find it good practice to remind the contractor to include mention of the time impact on the overall schedule, as well as how I'd prefer to see the cost quoted. Finally, to make this a legal document, the CA should sign it and date it. Note that it is not necessary for the contractor to sign it to make it a legal document. The contractor's signature is just for confirmation that it was received. Step 4 is for the contractor to provide a quotation or decline to do so. I'll deal with that in the contract consideration video titled Responding to a Request for Quotation. Steps 5, 6, and 7 will be covered in the contract consideration video Issuing a Change Order. So, to summarize, the contemplated change order is the foundation of professional cost management and deserves enough attention to be done right. The CA must know if the proposed additional work is classified as a change or extra work to know if the contractor can decline it. A good contemplated change order will be complete as to scope and specifications. A good contemplated change order will be clear as to expectations for time and cost, including any new deadlines. A good contemplated change order will follow the say it once principle to make changes or corrections simple while avoiding the possibility of conflicting information causing confusion. I hope this has helped clarify this contract consideration. Please check our website for further assistance and to see what other topics are presented in this series. Thanks for watching.